Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about Bethesda Game Studios, and more specifically, I want to talk about should Bethesda Game Studios, the company that makes the Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout series, release a game every year. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it is all too often I see comments on my YouTube videos, other YouTube videos, and comments on Twitter saying that we should get a Fallout every year and or an Elder Scrolls every year. And I'm pretty sure many of you who follow Bethesda Game Studios have seen the same or similar comments. And that is why in this video I want to talk about should we get a game from Bethesda Game Studios every year. So let's talk now. In my opinion, I do not think we should get a game from Bethesda Game Studios every year, because if we look at other games from Bethesda Game Studios, such as the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 3, and we take a look at how unique each world is. We look at the size of the map. Each location on the map is unique. We look at all the weapons and armors and items in the game, which are all unique. We look at the lore in the game, like the terminals in Fallout and the books in the Elder Scrolls. We look at how unique that is. We look at how unique each and every single NPC in the game is. We look at how unique each faction is and how each enemy is, and not to mention the story of the game and the side quest and quests in the game. And we look at all the minor details which make a huge difference, such as the soundtrack, the sound effects, the weather effects, the texture, and pretty much everything in the game. Then we begin to see how much work actually goes into a Bethesda Game Studios game, such as the Fallout series and the Elder Scrolls series. And to be honest, I don't think Bethesda Game Studios could create a game as awesome as Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and or the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim within a year. In fact, we look at a game like the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, it probably took a team of 60 or more people working full time for 4 or more years to create that game, and the same goes for Fallout 4 and Fallout 3. And I don't think it would be possible to produce a game of that scale in a matter of a year. And if they only had a year to make the game, I think it would be absolutely terrible, and nothing even close to the worlds of Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. So I do not think we should get a game from Bethesda Game Studios every year, because if they did release one every year, it probably would not be that good, because it would be nothing like the games we all know and love, like the Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, solely due to production time being shortened by a lot. And I think that would cut out a lot of content and a lot of stuff in game, and I think it would be nothing like games we have seen from them previously before. Another reason I don't think we should see a game from Bethesda Game Studios every year is because even if Bethesda Game Studios could produce a game like the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Fallout 3, or Fallout 4 within a year, if they could produce a game of that scale, I think Bethesda Game Studios fans would be oversaturated. And when I say this, what I mean is that it would literally be one game after another. Picture how long it took you to beat Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I was someone who played the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim like crazy almost every day. I played Fallout 3 almost every day. I played Fallout 4 almost every day. And it took me about 2 years to beat each and every single one of those games and do everything that the game had to offer, including finding all the items, all the unique weapons and armor, and completing all the DLC. So if Bethesda Game Studios released a game every year, I think it would be too much for us fans to even keep up with. And although it would be cool to see a new game every year from Bethesda Game Studios, I think at the end of the day, it would be too much for us to keep up with, because it would be one game after another. It would literally be after the final DLC for Fallout 4 would be released, for example, then the Elder Scrolls 6 would come out, and then after that final DLC was released for the Elder Scrolls 6, then you would have Fallout 5, and the cycle would just repeat. And I think that would be pretty crazy. So, in my final opinion, should Bethesda Game Studios release a game each and every single year? In my opinion, absolutely not. I don't think the game could get done within a year on the scale we have seen, like in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Fallout 3, and or Fallout 4. I don't think it is possible to make a game like that within a year, even with a full team dedicated to it full time. And if they did manage to produce something within a year, honestly, I think the game would be terrible and nowhere near the size or scale of the games we all know and love, of the worlds as we all know and love, like Bethesda's Game Studios, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 3. And even if they could produce a game on that scale, like the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, like Fallout 4, and like Fallout 3 every year, I honestly think the game market for Bethesda Game Studios would become oversaturated. It would just be one game after another, way too much for us to keep up with. Anyways, what do you guys think? Should Bethesda Game Studios release a game every year? Leave it down in the comment section below. Anyways, I love each and every single one of you. I hope to see you guys right back here tomorrow, and remember to stay freaky.